Larry Niven's Ringworld might just be the sci-fi equivalent of that guy who shows up to your party, commandeers the playlist, and somehow convinces everyone he's the coolest thing they've ever seen. Only in this case, he's holding a physics textbook and ranting about orbital mechanics. Published way back in 1970, Ringworld scooped up both the Hugo and Nebula Awards, effectively winning the nerd equivalent of a Grammy and an Oscar at the same time. Not bad for a story that starts at a 200th birthday party, one so spectacularly dull that Louis Wu decides he'd rather risk his life exploring a massive alien structure deep in space than stick around for another minute of polite conversation. Now, if you're new to Larry Niven, imagine Isaac Asimov, but less concerned about robots and more interested in asking questions like, but could we build a ring around a star? Niven doesn't just dabble in big ideas, he practically snorts them off of a mirror. His known space universe is meticulously constructed, teeming with aliens like the Pierson's Puppeteers, hyper-intelligent, paranoid herbivores who make your anxious cousin Steve look positively relaxed, and of course, the Kinsk, warrior cats who make Klingons look like kindergarten teachers. But it's Niven's audacious concept, a gigantic ring world encircling a star, that steals the show and refuses to give it back. Speaking of this megastructure, Ringworld itself is basically a Dyson sphere after going keto. The same star-encircling ambition, way fewer materials. At about 186 million miles in diameter, this thing is so vast it makes planets look like insignificant specks and renders humanity's grandest achievements laughably quaint. Niven lovingly explains every inch of its construction, so by page 50 you'll either feel smarter or significantly dumber. It's like he's daring the scientific community to call him out, casually tossing off calculations and structural integrity details with the breezy confidence of someone who's already triple-checked his homework. And nerds, bless them, have spent decades obliging, debating its feasibility with the rigour usually reserved for Star Wars fan theories. The plot, mercifully, is more than a glorified physics dissertation. Louis Wu, our protagonist, gets roped into exploring the ring world by Nessus, the aforementioned cowardly, paranoid puppeteer, alongside a very angry Kins, named Speaker to Animals, who is exactly as diplomatically skilled as his name implies, and Tila Brown, a woman so lucky she makes lottery winners look cursed. The group embarks on their quest. It's like a cosmic buddy comedy, only everyone might die horribly, which, let's face it, is infinitely more entertaining. Tila Brown is perhaps the most intriguing and at times problematic character. She's literally genetically engineered for luck, something that feels like cheating even by sci-fi standards. Her presence constantly begs the question, if you're born lucky, can you ever really be responsible for your success? And more importantly, if everything works out perfectly, is that actually super boring? Spoiler alert, Niven seems to think so because Tila's luck oscillates between handy plot device and outright existential nightmare, as if luck itself is a prank the universe is playing on her. Louis Wu himself is refreshingly flawed. He's basically your cool uncle, if your cool uncle had a centuries-long midlife crisis and partied his way through the galaxy. He's relatable precisely because he's not a hero, just a guy with extraordinary circumstances thrust upon him. Meanwhile, Nessus is so delightfully cowardly, he'll make you rethink your stance on bravery. Maybe survival is all about panicking at exactly the right moments. And Speaker to Animals offers comic relief by attempting to murder people approximately every 20 pages. Niven's knack for character isn't subtle, but it's undeniably effective. Of course, Ringworld isn't flawless. Niven's writing style occasionally feels like attending a TED talk presented by an overly enthusiastic physics professor. He loves exposition the way George R.R. Martin loves killing characters, frequently and without apology. The dialogue can be a little wooden at times, especially when characters launch into casual astrophysics lectures mid-conversation. But considering the ambition of the subject matter, we can forgive Niven for occasionally forgetting humans generally don't chat like NASA engineers at brunch. The lasting influence of Ringworld is undeniable. This book single-handedly inspired generations of readers, video games, and even speculative engineering projects. Without Niven, there might never have been a Halo video game, and millions of gamers would have missed the joy of being repeatedly sniped by 12-year-olds online. And whilst the scientific debates rage endlessly, one thing remains clear: Ringworld defined a generation's vision of epic-scale sci-fi. Sure, there are more scientifically rigorous novels out there, and Niven's gender politics feel painfully dated by modern standards, but at the end of the day, Ringworld thrives because it's a grand adventure with ideas big enough to blot out suns. It's a novel that dares to ask, why limit ourselves to planets when we can engineer cosmic jewellery? That audacity alone earns it a permanent spot in any self-respecting sci-fi fan's bookshelf. If you're wondering whether to give it a read, ask yourself this: do you enjoy being simultaneously amazed and infuriated by a novel? Do you like your fiction packed with enough science to ruin casual dinner conversation for weeks? If so, welcome to Larry Niven's playground, where the physics is questionable, the characters are unforgettable, and the only thing bigger than the Ringworld is your inevitable existential dread about humanity's future. Cheers.